Tonight, see how some Troy University students commemorated the September 11th attacks.
Plus, remember the childhood dress-up games? Well, one organization on campus is working to bring those games alive again. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for September 16, 2013. I'm Christina Cook.
And I'm Courtney Addison. Thank you for joining us this evening. The 12-year anniversary of the 9/11 attacks was last week, and over the weekend, Troy University students chose to give back to the community in remembrance. Lloyd Price has the story.
Over 150 Troy students participated in last Saturday's 9/11 Service Day. The event was a way for students to honor those who died in the September 11th attacks by giving back to the residents of Pike County through service projects.
A lot of times we're driving around back and forth to different places that we frequent, and you miss out on the opportunity to give back or to understand what needs exist in the community.
Students met at the Smith Hall parking lot at 8 a.m. Saturday morning, where they each signed up for a particular community service project. Then buses took groups of students to each project. The groups did yard work, painted buildings, played games with nursing home residents, and even helped build 2 Habitat for Humanity homes in Troy and Brundage.
So we have 9 different projects, 2 with Habitat for Humanity, 1 at Head Start, 1 at the Salvation Army, Pioneer Museum, Save a Life, the Boys and Girls Club, and the Alternative Learning Center.
Many students who participated in the 9/11 Service Day say that giving up their Saturday to serve the community greatly benefited them and the residents of Pike County.
But I'm going to end up seeing the highlights anyway of the football games and chilling. I might as well just help other people while I'm not doing nothing.
Teamwork is good on your resume and you're helping others. Someone's getting a house and somewhere to live.
Lloyd Price, Troy TrojanVision News.
And if a student wasn't able to participate in the Service Day activities but still wants to learn more about volunteering in the community, they can visit Seelan in his office at 215 Eldridge Hall.
Well, Troy University is in the middle of a multi-year effort to create a culture of reading on campus through its Quality Enhancement Plan. As a part of that effort, Troy University is welcoming an author to campus to talk to students. Author Wendy Reed will visit the campus as the first of organizers and hope students will learn not only about Reed's book, but his book, An Accidental Memoir.
And we're bringing in some published authors sort of in this region to talk about not just the book they wrote or books, but to talk about reading. How do you, these are people who make their living reading, right? So how do you encourage reading? How do we help our students be more engaged, detailed readers and more interested in reading? Because we all read. You read text messages and websites and all kind of stuff, but to be an engaged reader is the kind of reading that really carries you.
The first afternoon with an author will be in Patterson Hall, room 103, tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Future sessions are expected in October and November.
Have you ever wanted the chance to pretend to be someone you're not? Well, there's a club for that. Troy University's Live Action Role Playing Guild, or LARP, is now accepting new members for the fall. This fall, the organization will be on a quest through the medieval ages. Players create their own characters from fairies, elves, or even demons and remain in character throughout the journey. During the quest, players have the chance to join and form their own kingdoms. The kingdoms have battles and face controversy, but although they come together to find happiness and peace at the end of the day. To put it in simpler terms, it's almost like joining the Lord of the Rings for a day.
In a fantasy world, it's basically who you would want to be. As far as like elves, and then you do battles and combat, and you also role play a lot.
The date for the first quest has not been set, but organizers say it will begin around the end of October. Anyone is welcome to join the guild, and if you are interested, you can connect to the officers on Facebook at Troy University LARP Guild. There will also be an interest meeting in the second floor Trojan Center Lounge tonight at 8 o'clock.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Gulf Shores, a skyscraper that's being called Alabama's largest residential building began welcoming owners this week. Phoenix West 2 on the Gulf of Mexico in Orange Beach is 32 stories high and includes 1.9 million square feet.
And in Montgomery, the Alabama State Capitol will play host to a ceremony to commemorate National Prisoners of War and Missing in Action Recognition Day. State officials say Alabama's Prisoner of War and MIA Recognition Day is set for Saturday and will include remarks by Korean War veteran Newt Duke of Alabaster.
And in Tuscaloosa, officials say they're working to address sewage spills that seem to be happening more frequently because of heavy rain, broken sewer lines, and malfunctioning pumping stations. A Water and Sewer Department report says 1.3 million gallons of sewage has spilled in the first part of 2013.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the football team may not have been in action over the weekend, but the soccer team picked up a big win at home. Danielle Percival will have the details when she joins us with sports. And now Danielle Percival joins us with sports. So Danielle, the football team wasn't in action this past weekend, but from what I understand, it was still a really big and successful weekend for Trojan Athletics.
That's right, Courtney. The soccer team was actually in action here at home. A couple of other teams in action on the road, but we'll get into it all right now. After a tough double overtime loss to Jacksonville State on Friday, the Trojan soccer team returned home. And as Mitchell Spoon shows us, the Trojans were on the winning side of another tough matchup.
The Troy soccer team hosted Murray State on Sunday at the Troy Soccer Complex and looked to get their first ever win against the Racers. In the first half, the Trojans fell behind early after Julie Mooney netted her third goal of the season after getting an assist from Shauna Wicker. But head coach Chris Bentley blames that goal on the team's youth.
You know, it's growth. We're young, and I think sometimes we make some young mistakes. You saw it in the first goal, but I think they're excited about the win today, and they needed to get that. They needed it big time.
In the second half, things quickly turned around for the Trojans, and in the 51st minute, Niecy Jennings tied the game at 1-1 after kicking a high ball just over the reach of the Murray State goalkeeper. And soon after that, it was the Trojans again who got a score off Abby Reynolds when she got a piece of a free kick and put one through. But she would not stop there. Minutes later, it was Reynolds again who scored for the Trojans, this time putting them up 3-1 after beating her defender in a race to the goal after getting the assist from Paige McMillan. Coach Bentley was proud of the way his team was coming together.
It gives them confidence, and I think they deserve it. They're creating chances. It was about time that they started getting those, and those were important goals. Every single one of them was important.
That importance was needed. In the 83rd minute, Lacey Wright drove into the box and cut the Trojans' lead to 1, making it a close game again. But the Trojans pushed through to extend the lead back to 2 when Maddie Tika nailed the final goal in the closing seconds. Coach Bentley was pleased by his team's performance on the day.
The big one for me is we pressed as a unit. When we attacked, if we didn't get a good ball off to someone, maybe it was a bad pass, maybe it was a quick turnover, we had numbers there to defend right away. And you saw a difference. If you have numbers there to defend, you can take the ball back right away and win it back, and we were able to keep them in their end of the half. That makes a big difference on the play.
Mitchell Spoon, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
The team will be back in action at the Troy Soccer Complex this Friday, facing Gardner-Webb at 4 p.m. After having close to 2 weeks off without racing, the Troy University cross-country team traveled to Mobile to compete in the Azalea City Classic, hosted by South Alabama on Saturday morning. They saw some of their best performances of the season. The women's squad placed 5th overall in its first 6K race of the season, with Julia Ostendorf leading the team and finishing in the top 10. She was 9th overall, finishing in 22 minutes and 5 seconds. Michaela Hodges was the top freshman on the women's side, finishing in 13th with a time of 22 minutes and 17 seconds. The men's team finished 6th in its first 8K race of the 2013 season. Sean Kent led the way for the Trojans in 20th place at 26 minutes and 24.81 seconds. Next up for the Trojans is a trip to Atlanta for the Georgia State Invitational on Friday. The Trojan volleyball team finished the weekend 1-2 at the Georgia Tech Courtyard Classic, including taking down the host team. On Friday, the Trojans lost a tough, close 5-set match to UConn, but on Saturday, Troy was able to rebound and pick up their first victory over an ACC school. Troy won 3-1 against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and was led by Maria Zelovanich with 22 kills and only 5 errors, and she also was named to the All-Tournament team. Blair Winston, in only her second full match of the season, posted 13 kills. But later in the day on Saturday, the Trojans were unable to find any success against St. John's as they were swept 3-0. Courtney Cohen posted 15 digs in the match and is now only 31 shy of setting the all-time career record. After a tough Thursday night defeat, the Trojans had the weekend off to prepare for their next outing. Troy had every opportunity to come away from Jonesboro with a 3-0 record, but mistakes cost the Trojans. Despite the offense putting up over 600 yards and running over 90 plays, 4 turnovers proved to be too much for the Trojans to overcome in a 41-34 loss to Arkansas State. However, according to quarterback Corey Robinson, the mistakes that were made are correctable.
The only thing that I can say positively about it is that, that there was some positive things that happened, and that's always good. It wasn't just a total mishap, a total terrible game by our offense. It was just like you said, just some simple mistakes. Just learning when I can't do anything else, I just gotta take the sack.
The Trojans will be back on the road this Saturday as they head to Starkville, Mississippi for a rematch with Mississippi State. The Trojans and Bulldogs will meet at 6:30 Saturday night. So Courtney, Christina, while there was no football, and of course football is the big story, there were some very exciting games for the Trojans. Congratulations to the soccer team picking up a big win on Sunday. Be back in action at home on Friday afternoon, so hopefully fans will be able to come out and support the team, support Project 19.
Exactly, and hopefully the football team can kind of get things back on track and be ready for this weekend.
Well, that's right, another big game on the schedule.
Exactly. Thank you, Danielle.
Thanks, Danielle.